First time today, we're also hearing from an officer who was there when a man suspected of shooting conservative activist Charlie Kirk during that political event in Utah fired those shots. This officer testifying about the moments officials started piecing together that this alleged shooter was on the run.
It looks like a sniper pad, a person that has been laying in a prone position, and you've got markings of elbows, knees, and feet to where somebody was in the line of sight of where Charlie's tent was.
That officer also testifying earlier about the moment that Kirk was shot. During that part of the testimony, our team inside court says Kirk's widow, Erika, and his parents got up and left the courtroom. They had been obviously in the room. Tyler Robinson, here he is in court in the light gray suit in the far right of the screen. He's charged with killing Kirk as he was addressing a crowd of thousands at Utah Valley University last year. He has not entered a plea yet. This is a 5-day preliminary hearing where prosecutors are trying to convince a judge that Robinson should stand trial. They're also seeking the death penalty. Camila Bernal is following this story for us. And Camila, it does feel in so many ways almost like a mini pre-trial ahead of the trial for prosecutors to prove that, yes, they have enough evidence to do the real thing, to do an actual trial, right?
Yeah, it definitely feels like a mini trial because we're seeing evidence being presented and witnesses. We heard from 2 prosecution witnesses, both law enforcement agents, and we are expected to hear from more of them and from witnesses on the defense. So that's why it sort of feels like a mini trial. I want you to listen to part of the testimony from one of the officers that was on the stand today.
I looked down and saw an empty pistol holder that was sitting just on top of the grass. And at that moment, things had died down just a split second. I realized that the shot I heard was more of a rifle shot and not a pistol shot.
So this is the officer that essentially realizes that the person they had initially arrested was likely not the shooter. He's the one that goes up to the roof and then requests surveillance video of the roof to then begin that investigation on the roof. We also heard from another officer, and in his testimony, essentially what is happening is that the prosecution is using it to introduce some of the video of the shooting. There's been a lot of objections from the defense. Essentially, she continues to say that this is going to not allow her client to have a fair trial. She's fighting for the authentication of all of the videos that are going to be presented. The judge essentially has been overruling all of this. We're not allowed to see it, but it is being presented in court.
What about what else happened inside the courtroom? I mean, it was notable, I think, that Charlie Kirk's widow, Erika Kirk, was there. I mean, she's somebody who came and appeared for this, trial ahead of the trial, almost a mini trial ahead of the trial.
Yeah, and not just Erika Kirk, but also Charlie Kirk's parents. Don Jr. is also there with his wife. And what was interesting is that the both times, one where it was testimony that was being talked about of the time of the shooting, that's when they first left. They went back into court, and as soon as they were going to show some of these videos, they got up again and left the courtroom. So it's clear that they do not want to see or hear about the moment that he was shot. The family, along with Erika Kirk and his sister, released a statement essentially saying that every single court proceeding that they go to is just a painful reminder of what happened to them, Hallie.
Camila Bernal live for us on that one. Camila, thank you very much. Keep us posted as we learn more. Appreciate it.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.